They did a smart thing in there. They obviously knew that Jerry Bryant with a lot more experience in there than David Oswald, and they got young David in there, and that was the one that they chose to go to make the effort to the pin on. David battled it as well as he could in there, but they overcame him, as a matter of fact, and got the 3 count in
7:53.
7:53. That's just what I was going to say. Okay, we mentioned a little bit earlier that we had talked on the phone with Billy Robinson at his home in Minneapolis, and got Billy again to send us a report on how he's doing, and he's out of the cast, as I think most everybody knew last week, and he's been working out, and Billy says he's feeling great. And let's take a listen now to what Billy had to say himself.
Hello, I just want to pass a little message on here to the assassins, and I want to make it quite clear to everybody in professional wrestling just how I feel. I want to make it quite clear, and I'm sure there's a lot of top professional wrestlers who know where I'm coming from, what feeling and what depth of feeling I've got. I just want them to know. And if they don't listen to this interview, I want you people to pass it on to them. That I am so intent in my feelings at the moment. I want to go back to when I first started in wrestling, to a town called Wigan, to a town where they have a gymnasium called the Snake Pit. An ominous name, but its reputation was not as hard as the people that came out of it. Not the people that went in it, because some of those didn't last. You had to be a man to go into that gymnasium. The coach was Billy Riley. Men from all over the world. Dara Singh from India, Gideon Gita from Hungary, Bert Azaradi, Billy Joyce, both champions, all champions in their own right, but they had something that very few professional wrestlers or any type of combat people have. They learnt how to hook, and I learned how to hook, and I learned how to stretch. And these names may not mean anything to you, but what it really means is you learn how to break, how to maim, how to injure, how to put pain on your opponent. Now, I became not quite good, but very good at this catch-as-catch-can style of wrestling, the toughest there is. And I became a professional wrestler. Professional wrestling is the toughest sport in the world. But it is physical chess. It's the mind and the strength of the stamina against your opponent. Unfortunately, I've got pride in myself as a wrestler. I've got pride that wrestling, to me, is the greatest thing in my life. And I've put what I learned before, shall we say, in my hip pocket, in my back pocket, and I've not had really the opportunity, the necessity, or the will to use it. But now, assassins, the opportunity and the necessity and the need for me mentally and physically has arrived.
Okay, Billy Robinson, and we're going to be back with more wrestling action coming up for you on Championship Wrestling in just one moment. Wave Country Championship Wrestling continues right along here, and we're going to be back to the ring in just a moment. Tonight, Madisonville, Kentucky. Plenty of action down Madisonville way for you folks that might be in the direction, want to go see some great wrestling action. How about next Tuesday night in the Louisville Garden? No doubt about the kind of action that's going to be there. Steve Regal goes against Rick Morton. Paul Ellering takes on Buddy Wayne. Sugar Bear Harris against Billy Robinson in 3 opening single matches. Then a tag match with Sonny King and the Iranian Assassin going against Rick and Robert Gibson. Then a Southern Tag Team title match when Jerry Jarrett and Ken Lucas team it up together to take on the big mighty Assassins right there in the Gardens. And the final match of the night, take a listen to this one. A pole strap match. 10 feet pole in the corner, strap on top. You climb up and get it and come down with it, friend. You can legally use it right there when Handsome Jimmy Valiant takes on Bill Superstar Dundee in what ought to be one whale of a match in the Gardens. That's next Tuesday night. Handsome Jimmy, come on in here and tell us about this pole match coming up.
Yeah, baby. Woo! Let's see it. You know, about 3 weeks ago, I just commentated on the Saturday Night Live. I was the host, brother, and my special guest was Joe Cocker. And Joe said, Handsome, you still got that strap around that tiny waist, baby. He says, and I see it, brother. I said, it must mean nothing but bread to you. I said, Cocker, this is just like selling 1,000,000 records, brother. Because it gives me all the opportunities. I have commercials, brother. I have movies. I got everything. But you see, Tuesday night, I'm not putting this strap up for Superstar Billy. You see, because this is a pole match. You see, I can climb the pole, but I'm not going to do it because Handsome's too smart. I'm going to let the monkey climb it. And when you come down with the strap, brother, I'm going to be waiting. And I'm going to take that strap, brother, and I'm going to whoop your head, baby.
You hear it. Handsome Jimmy, Tuesday night, Louisville Gardens.
In Melrose, Minnesota, due into the wrestling area right now, the Assassins just walking in front of the camera there on the way to the ring. Here comes Paul Ellering, one we were talking about out of Minnesota. His partner, interesting young man. Let's go with the official introductions as they climb up onto the ring apron here. This is going to be a one-fall 15-minute time limit match. Introducing at a total weight of 535 pounds. From Melrose, Minnesota, Paul Ellering and his partner from the hills of Missouri, Slim the Hillbilly. And going against him at a total weight of 590 pounds from parts unknown, the Assassins. This match will be one fall, 15-minute time limit. Referee is Paul Morton.
Woogie, off they come. Paul is out of his jacket. He'll be starting over there. The Assassin number, let's see. I don't know who's starting. Really doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Number 2. And we're off and running with a one fall 15-minute time limit bout. The Assassin number 2 starting out against Paul Ellering. Slim the Hillbilly out of the hills of Missouri is the partner of Paul Ellering. He brings a lot of weight in there, and he knows what he wants to do. He's not all that versed in terms of having a long experience in professional wrestling. We'll have to see how he goes with these huge Assassins. Up on top with a wrist lock, and the Assassin takes Ellering down. Ellering right back up and backed into the ropes. Referee calls for a break, and the Assassin hammers a forearm. Ellering comes right back with one. Paul Ellering, 1977 NCAA weightlifting champion. Step over toe hold to the inside, and Ellering kicks his way out of it right off the bat. Paul, dead center of the ring, very determined and serious young man. Around behind goes the Assassin, waist locks him there. Ellering trying to shake out of it, using that strength of his. With that leg scissors, takes the Assassin over and down. A tag on number 1, and they will be changing partners. Sound like I'm calling a square dance in there.
Do-si-do.
Yeah. Assassin number 1, and nice arm drag. Hooked it and rolled with it, Paul Ellering did. Bends that wrist down, but the Assassin up on his knees and back to his feet, and Ellering goes in, locks the wrist, rolls him over and down. Looked for a moment, and I think the Assassin thought he was going to try to go behind, and he was ready to block that. But Ellering scrambling down, rolls the Assassin up. He goes to the ropes and outside. Paul Ellering. And the other Assassin. You know, I had them confused myself. That's number 1 that's in there now. Number 2 that was on the outside. But the referee says, no, Let's get the other guy back in here. And so number 2 is back in there now. Paul Ellering has one idea, straight ahead, dead center on him. Full Nelson on Ellering. Oh, with those powerful arms, he snaps out of the big assassin's full Nelson. Looking for a way to go at it. As he goes under with a hand, the tag goes to the other assassin and a right hand to the midsection of Ellering. In the air, straight over the head, and 235-pound or so Paul Ellering slammed down on that mat by the assassin number 1. Whips through the ropes, knee to the midsection. Referee Paul Morton. Assassin in the corner, whip a reverse. And Ellering fires.